Good evening, attendees. I welcome you all at Smart Home Virtual Connect, which is an exclusive exhibition and conference on smart home technology, smart spaces, intelligent building, home automation, and audio video. In continuation, we have our another speaker from our partner, CEDIA. So we have Mr. Maulik Unatkar, who's certified THX HA ISF, who runs an organization Beyond Automation Alliance in Mumbai. They have 4 experience center. And about him, he loves AV and automation. He didn't learn much in his engineering, but he has done a lot of certification from Stalwart, and he has gained knowledge through these experiences. He would be sharing his CPD, which is CEDIA Professional Designing Connected Homes. Mr. Maulik is accompanied by Mr. Rupesh Shah, who's CEDIA consultant for India, and who has been continuous support of Smart Home Expo event. So I welcome Mr. Maulik and Rupesh. Mr. Maulik, you can take it forward from here.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Very privileged to be a part of this amazing show. Sandeep, you have done a great job. It's exciting to have something virtual. You are really ahead of the curve in doing something like this. Before I begin, I would like Rupesh, the representative of CEDIA in India, to first talk about CEDIA, and then we will go on the subject of designing the connected home.
Hey, thanks Maulik, and good evening to all of you. Thank you to Smart Home Expo, Sandeep and Vinayak, to have taken this first step towards adjusting to the new normal. That's what everyone's been talking about, and that's a great step taken, and at least connecting the whole industry together with this virtual connect event. So taking up from there, I would like to just speak very quickly a little about what CEDIA does. Because a lot of you may know and a lot of you may not know. So it's just to add up that information that who is CEDIA? CEDIA is all about the custom install industry, right? A lot of different names given to the people from this industry. Some of them may call us as, integrators. Some of them may call us as, automation consultants, and so on and so forth. So what does CEDIA do is, CEDIA stands for Custom Electronic Design Installation Association. It's an international trade association which is 30 years old, if I'm not wrong, and has been supporting the global industry with a lot of leading technology related stuff and education that we give. So we are like a university in itself, is what I would say, where we represent over 3,700 member companies worldwide. So that's a lot of them, basically, which includes and comprises manufacturers, distributors, trade suppliers, right? Integrators, of course, who basically update and upgrade themselves from whatever we do as a part of technology advancement, and implement it and work with the interior designers and architects fraternity to give a very nice technologically advanced and enabled home, which enhances further the lifestyle of every end customer, and that's what we want to do together as a team. So that's a little about what we do. We also represent, in a way, 22,000 industry professionals worldwide. And this is a little old slide, but as we speak, we are over 3,900 members, and this family is growing every day thanks to the support from the industry. So can we have the next slide, please? So what we do is certifications. We do a lot of education programs for the integrators, and manufacturers are also an integral part of the development that we do. So we do a lot of research. We do release a lot of white papers for the industry, and the industry follows suit. So basically, it's like everyone looks up to what CEDIA does from a technological advancement perspective, and everyone starts implementing the best practices. So I'll keep it short because that's not the reason why we have Maulik here, and I would like Maulik to take over and get to talk about designing connected homes, which is the main agenda for the day. So thank you, Maulik, for letting me speak for a couple of minutes, and over to you.
Thank you, Rupesh. So yeah, one of the major points today that I want to highlight is CDI as a non-profit. It is a complete, the initiative is only to bridge the gap between design and build integrators, a design and build professional, that is the interior designers and architects, with the integration and the technology industry. It is here to set standards, because when we talk about today's subject, when we are talking about connected homes, um, it needs a specialist, right? It needs somebody who knows the subject in depth, and that's what interior designers and architects like to work with, specialist. And when do you become a specialist? When you have gone through a lot of education and certification, when you have actually known what the global trends are, when you follow global practices, when you have a high class documentation and a well trained team. CDIA does all of this. We are truly indebted to CDIA. I'm also just a volunteer, and I have this privilege to present this today. None of the things that I'm going to talk about are my perspective. My opinion is out of the way. This is what is happening globally. This comes from hundreds of hours and thousands of hours of study of the market. So that's what we are going to share with you. We are not here to consult you. We are not here to teach you something. We know you know the subject well. We are just going to highlight the different possibilities of when you are designing a connected home. We are going to talk about the global trends today, and there are some misconceptions that have created wrong fundamentals of design. We may touch a few of them. Okay, so when we talk about a connected home, you surely want a professional on board. And how do you gauge or differentiate a professional from an amateur? It depends on how much he has gone through in terms of the design process, or how well he can design it for you, or how much more knowledge or specialization does one have in the industry. So it's not about the product price or the cost of the product, that comes last. Okay, professionals who start with quotations generally is a bad sign. Okay, it has to all start from a brief, a detailed study, because what we are designing is somebody's house for the next 20 years. We are designing somebody's office for the next 5, 7, 10 years. So when we are designing something for an individual, there has to be an individualistic approach. There cannot be templates. There's no one size that fits all. So when we are talking about home technology, we are talking about designing a new connected home, you cannot have one code that fits all. We have to go into knowing the family. We have to know into the brief, what we call. We have to take the scope of the project. Okay, who's interested in movies, who's interested in, who's tech savvy, who's not, who may adapt to automation, who will need a much more user-friendly system, who can actually, who will actually need a dashboard that can give you everything. So you need to understand the family, you need to understand the brief, you need to understand the application of the project that we are diving into. So the first sign of a professional is there will be a lot of questions. Okay, and the right questions. It's not that you have to bore someone with a long questionnaire. It has to be the right questions asked at the right time. So that brings us to a brief which makes the foundation of the design. Okay, these are the applications, these are the desires, these are the critical needs of the system, these are the luxuries of the system, and these are something that is a no compromise. They are meant for protection and safety. So first of all, we have to categorize all the needs of the client into these systems. Okay, so that's what the brief is all about. Then we come to the scope of the project. How, as in, what is the customer currently using? Everybody designs a new house for a lifestyle upgrade, right? You're doing that for a new lifestyle. So you're going to be using a lot of new systems for the first time in life. When we are doing that, I may not have the budget of doing everything today. So what all is my present scope? What all is going to be added in the future? That has to be thought about. Whether I should lay a Cat5 cable or a Cat6 cable or a Cat7 cable, what will my infrastructure be? What will be the AV needs of the client? And it's always a mismatch between the budget and the application. So how am I going to bridge that? How do I find value for money solutions to it? How do I design the right solution for the client that it converts into a deal and it's not over designed or it's not under designed. This entire scope of the project needs to be understood, and that goes on with first building a relationship with the client, first building a great questionnaire, a great brief, a great scope. Okay, so it all begins with that. Whether I'm making a weekend home or it's a luxury apartment in the center of the city, it's my primary home, or I'm going to use it once in a while. Am I going to rent it out, or am I going to be using this for the next 20 years of my life? All this may change what we as integrators offer to the client. So that brief and that discussion, as long as possible and as elaborate and detailed as possible, that forms the foundation and the ground zero of a good design. So it all begins there. Once the design and the brief is in place, you first build the system design diagram or a system design plan. What we are talking about is what cables need to be laid. Okay, one of the most expensive mistakes that somebody can do in designing a system is wrong wiring. And I think most of you design professionals will understand this. No bigger mistake like a wrong wiring. Okay, everything needs a specialized cable when you're talking about specialized technologies. There are cables that can support maybe various brands, and that open-minded or open-ended design has to be in place. It cannot be built for a single brand because the client may opt for multiple brands tomorrow. So what is the infrastructure that we put in place? Every wireless system also needs a wire behind it. There's nothing called truly wireless when you talk about Wi-Fi cameras or you talk about Wi-Fi access points or repeaters. They need a cable behind. Then they transmit the signal wirelessly ahead. But the main infrastructure is wireless. So again, which cable to be used? The appropriate cable. And the last thing that we want is exposed cabling. So all of this has to be concealed either below the flooring or behind the above the false ceiling or maybe behind a false wall. But all of these have to be hidden. So hidden cabling and correct cabling. These are the first two systems that we take care of even before we come to what is the cost of the system that I'm going to keep in place. So the present and future requirements of the customer have to be addressed when we are talking about the infrastructure. The infrastructure needs to be robust, future-proof. Nobody knew that voice commands and streaming will be so widely used in homes. Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube, all of this would become our daily viewing, and the only form of viewing, set-top boxes will become obsolete. Bandwidths will be really consumed like this. We never knew. But a house built even 5 years back or 10 years back should have had the cabling and the infrastructure that can take care of these needs. That's what connected homes are all about. So your network, the bandwidth, see, we need to understand how much bandwidth each device basically consumes. If we are talking about a standard definition video, okay, I'm not even talking about high definition, HD bhi nahi. If we are talking about standard definition videos, we need at least 2-3 Mbps per device. If we are talking about high definition, we need about 5 Mbps per device. And when you're talking about 4K or Ultra HD, we need a bandwidth as good as 20 Mbps per device. Now, when we want such a huge bandwidth, we have to plan and calculate how many devices are there per house. Okay, will you believe me if I say that Cisco's survey says every individual on an average owns about 7 wireless devices that are bandwidth hungry on an average? Your laptops, your iPads, your phones, and maybe things, a TV, a projector, a Fire Stick, an Apple TV. Each individual owns about 7 devices on an average. You may be lesser, you may be higher, but at least it needs to be designed for an average consumption. So that bandwidth is very important to be pre-calculated and determined. There's so much that goes behind the scene that, as architects and interior designers, when you all build a house, you have to take care of so many things: the plumbing, the carpentry, the civil, the height, the everything from the painting, the false ceiling, the false walls, the selection, the palette, so much designing actually goes into the technology as well. Okay. This needs to be given a thought that how much bandwidth am I going to design the house for? How many wired devices do I expect? How many wireless devices do I expect? And in a country like India, where we have thick walls, we have good civil construction, we don't have those wooden partitions and ply partitions. We believe in robust constructions, which means that there is metal, there is a brick wall that a wireless signal has to pass. It may not reach. One of the poorest design will have a fluctuating Wi-Fi in different parts of the house. It may have range, high wireless bandwidth in few areas and blind spots in a lot of them. So that is important. Is our wireless network also planned such that it will cross all these walls? It will cross, I will have range even in my washroom. Again, a survey says that maximum people need the highest bandwidth when they are sitting idle in the washroom, or they want music to be streamed in their washroom. So every area is important, whether it's a kitchen or a bedroom. So that needs to be planned. Even if, like I said, even if there are wireless cameras that are going to come, we have to ensure that they don't have any interference and they have the necessary power at least. There are a lot of wireless automation systems coming in place right now. Okay. But don't be misguided. Even wireless automation systems, to control that light, will need at least a power wire till that light. So that doesn't make it truly wireless. The wireless part of the communication is between the dimming device of the automation and maybe the network, cloud, or the processor of the automation. The internal communication is wireless. We are not talking about that the light will no longer need a wire. All right. So even if when we are designing a complete wireless automation system, still a certain way and methodology of wiring has to be in place. Okay. So I hope that clarifies, because we have had this misconception come into a lot of people that you don't need to do any. Yeah, you may not need special wiring for a wireless device, but you need some wiring, at least power wiring for the wireless devices also. Moving on from the infrastructure to the actual parts of a smart connected home, and that's what this Smart Home Expo is all about, and today's seminar is all about, which is a connected home. It all begins for everyone with lighting and shades. Dimming the lights, controlling the lights from a phone, controlling the lights from an iPad, all of these are common now. I don't even need to talk about it. What I want to talk about in lights and shades is what was shades actually designed for. Okay, when shades or drapes or curtains or blinds were invented, they were first invented to give some privacy and security for the homeowner, so that you are not exposed to the rest of the world. It was given because the scorching heat and the rays of the sun could spoil the fabrics of the sofa and the chairs, so you need some protection for those fabrics. It was given so that you don't have a solar gain in your room. Now, what do I mean by solar gain? That when in the afternoon, if you have the sunlight on from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, coming into your room, the temperature may actually rise by a good 5-7 degrees, which means that you will now need some air conditioning to first bring the room temperature to the ambient room temperature. To bring those 5-7 degrees down, you may need a lot of power of the AC, so that you don't have this trap of heat, this solar gain in your house. The main curtains or the thicker curtains were always used. Sheer fabrics were used for security, to save your home from the glare that it brings in. And when we did this, what we blocked is daylight. Daylight may sometimes make up for all the artificial light that you can create. You use the best of lighting, nothing replaces daylight. All right. Even if I show you right now, the light that is coming from the window is far more pleasant than the light that is coming from these track lights and downlighters. It's always a much more pleasant light and a good light to be in. When you plan the lighting, we have to make maximum use of daylight. The moment we make maximum use of daylight, we can now play with the scenes much better. So shades are actually meant to make much better lighting scenes. And that is something that most of the times we miss in automation. We talk about creating scenes of lighting with curtains closed, And we never think about creating scenes of lighting with curtains open. When I am going to use that daylight, I'm going to save a lot of energy. I'm going to live in a much more pleasant environment. I'm going to like that lighting much better. I'm going to use my climate much better. My AC is much better. I may just use them as 24 instead of going in a power mode just because that heat got trapped. So the right use of lights and shades for different hours of the day. Okay, and this is actually if you use a little bit of artificial intelligence in your automation system, again, a point that most integrators miss. How well do you program your system? Can you program your system in a way that every morning, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whenever we wake up, we generally like daylight? Why don't the curtains and blinds automatically open every morning? Why don't they automatically shut every afternoon from 2 to 5, where everyone's any which way sleeping or wouldn't want that daylight to come at the cost of the heat that it is bringing in? These things need to be added into the system. You don't even need to click a button. It has to happen by itself. It has to happen with that artificial intelligence. It needs to know my mind, read my mind, and the programmer needs to program it in the system that my lifestyle, I don't have to click every day. My lifestyle is already inhabited into the program. Okay, that's what automation is all about. After lights and shades, okay, you sometimes have that requirement of a nice audio-visual system. Okay, why do we own an audio-visual system in a smart home when you can pay 500 rupees and watch something in a PVR? You can go into a Cinemax and enjoy the best speakers and the best projector. Why own it? Because you do not have privacy over there. You do not have the liberty to watch your Netflix and Prime and Amazon and Hotstar serials on it. You don't have the luxury to have a social gathering with your own people. You don't have the luxury to have a nice family time around it. You may have kids and not have the liberty to go to cinemas every single time. So that's when we design an audiovisual system. And there is a great misconception that to own a projector and a screen is very expensive. You actually can own the same resolution of a projector in the same cost that you can own a TV. Okay, and I'm not trying to do any marketing here. It is, if you really do your research well, you can own a projector for the price of a TV. And when you talk about the projector, it's if you combine four televisions together, that's the size of a projector for the same price. Okay, so you can actually have 4 times the surface area for the same price. And I'm talking projectors these days are available with 4K resolution, with full HD, with ultra HD, with HDR. You have loads of options available. And it's not a deep hole in your pocket as well. Then why not? For the kind of a basic surround sound system with a 5.1.2 Atmos is something that you wish to own. You want those effects. Okay, for those of you who may be not familiar with the word Atmos, it is 3 speakers in the front, 2 at the back, and 2 in the ceiling. So they give you the Z-axis sound, which is something that people are designing and owning right now. All new movies are coming with that Atmos technology. So when we have this kind of an AV requirement, how do you design that in a smart home, in a new connected home? I'm just switching between these 2 slides, all right? And you see the difference, which is more pleasant. This is standard lighting or functional lighting that we use. This is actually that, something like lighting up the dark. It's a dark room. There's just enough light to bring in that light there. All right. So that brings the beauty in that space. There are different kinds of lights that people use. Some are functional lights. All right. And some are aesthetic lights. And some are used only for this, just for lighting up the dark. So there are different types of lightings that you can use, whether it's a task lighting or this, that needs to be designed and that needs to be recalled. So maybe I need this kind of a light in between. Sorry, 1 second. I've just lost the presentation. Give me 1 minute. I'm sharing it again. Yeah. I'll just show you a small video here. Yeah, I think it should be enough. This is basically, this video shows the usage of how you can use natural light versus artificial light, something that I've already spoken about, and I think it fails to play. This is the biggest trouble with technology. It doesn't work when you want it to work. Okay, let me just restart the presentation. Give me 1 minute there. Okay, there we go again. I'm sharing the screen. I hope you all can see it yet again. And I'm
Yes,
going
we can see.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I will start the slideshow again. Okay, so this is the video. Yes, we have it. So that's what you need. Problems do arise in technology, but you need to know how to solve them. Sorry. Okay, so this is what you see: two types of fabrics, sheer fabrics and main fabrics, and how just bringing them down and taking them up change the whole ambience of the room, and how different. So you see three different types of shades over here. You see sheer fabrics that are used in a roller format. You see main fabrics that are used in American format as well as a Roman blind. And a combination of these three, all motorized, you can actually beat every application that you want. You can fulfill every application that you want, whether it is climate control, whether it is glare control, or whether it is just giving that aesthetic sense during parties. Okay, so that's what shades, etc., needs to be used for. Now, when we come to climate control, this is one big aspect again that integrators miss. When you want to save electricity, when you want to save energy, the biggest consumption of electricity in the house is an air conditioner. Okay, when I have a non-automated system, I have to manually go into the power mode of the AC, and after some time I need to be aware that I need to put it on to a 24 degrees, because I want my AC to shoot up the cooling when I'm coming from outside, or if there is heat that has been trapped in the room. And then I want it to go to 24, but if I forget doing it, it will keep chilling. Then suddenly I will switch it off. Then I'll again switch it on. A smart home climate control system knows how to automatically control this. Every time you just press AC on, or say Alexa AC on, it will start at those that 18 degree or 16 degree power mode, but it will automatically go to a 24 degree in some time. It will decrease the fan speed. It will keep modulating it as per your choice. See, every individual has a different preference of air conditioning that you want. You don't want it to be the same for everyone. My mode may be very different from my wife's mode, and that's one of the common differences that everybody of you will agree that at least for the couple, it never matches. So when I do the AC, it should work as per my mode, and when she does it, it is personalized to her mode. And you can always have a nice balance between it. But all this needs to be programmed into the system. It's easy to buy a 6,000 rupee device that can control the AC from the phone and Alexa, but that's just the start. Please, 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 if you don't take away anything else, please take away this from today's seminar, that the automation system is only as good as the integrator. It doesn't matter whether you have bought a Crestron or a Picostone or a Lutron or a Snyder or a Legron or a PERT or anything, any brand that you buy, it is only as good as the integrator integrating it. it is as good as the engineer programming it. The effort taken behind putting all these features that we are talking about, that's what the modern smart home is all about. That's what designing a connected home is all about. Okay. If we go one level above this, okay, we need to integrate a lot of security systems into the house, whether it is basic CCTV cameras, whether it is intrusion alarm systems, whether we are talking about access control, fingerprint readers. The modern fingerprint access control systems, they come with features that are power packed. Okay, when you use, let's say, keypads or programmable buttons on an automation system, these can be integrated into a fingerprint reader. There's a reader that can take all your 10 fingerprints, and each fingerprint will do a different job. For example, if I use my right thumb on the fingerprint reader, it will just open the lock. But if I use my left thumb, it will actually lock all the locks. It will also shut down all my systems. It will take it as an exit mode. While moving out of the house, imagine this luxury, I just swipe it and all my locks are shut, all my ACs are off, all my lights are off, my curtains and drapes are shut, my everything that I wanted to, I program it to shut will shut down. When I put my first index finger, again the lock is opened. So my security system now talks to the automation system that Maulik has come home and my favorite scene will come on. So the music that I like, the lights that I like, the scene that I like, the AC mode that I like, the curtain positions that I like, all of that is automatically understood by that reader that I want all that to come on now. Okay. In the night mode, it can work in a different way. In the morning, it may work in a different way. In the afternoons, another finger can be used and it can work in a different way. The whole idea of integration is to make each system talk to each other. Okay, there is no single brand in the world that manufactures everything that you see on the screen right now. Whether it is your lighting control, music systems, shade controls, AC controls, front door access, cameras, your security systems, your locks, lighting, and intercom, all of this, there's no single manufacturer that does this all, which requires that some selection of these products has to be done, that all of them can talk to each other, all of them understand each other, and the programming is such that you have a single interface and it is so user friendly that the youngest person in the house and the eldest person in the house, all of them can use this. Okay, it has to be such. When we go into good hotels which have automation systems, do we ever need the waiter to come in or somebody from the help desk to come in and explain us how to control the lights or the fans or the curtains of that room? Never. Even if it is the fully automated room, it has to be so user friendly that you don't need any training whatsoever. All right. So that's how you integrate all the systems into a single platform. Security and safety are one of the most neglected aspects in the connected home these days, because we always live in an assumption nothing untoward is going to happen to me. Okay. Would you believe me if I say that CCTV, intrusion alarm systems, fire alarm systems are about 1/4 the cost or maybe 1/6 the cost of your automation systems? They are that affordable. They are that inexpensive. And if you just design a basic system, it's not going to cost you anything, but it will give you that peace of mind. All of us seeing the seminar right now, or all human beings tend to buy insurance, tend to buy Mediclaim, etc. Right? Do we ever wish to use it? No. Hopefully, if there was a choice, we would never want to use it. But we want to buy it because there may be a mishap happening to us. And in those times, we want security. That's how CCTV and intrusion alarm systems should be looked at. No insurance claim can get you back the loss of life or the loss of property or the damage done to you back. The only thing that can get that back to you is if there were good systems that acted as deterrents. Somebody seeing a camera, somebody hearing an alarm is not going to actually barge into your house. And that's what you need these systems for. they need to avoid the mishap, not just post-mortem the mishap. So these are systems that you can put, whether it's a villa or a home, a basic fingerprint reader, so that I'm not carrying the keys of my house all the time. Okay, I can just enter the house the moment I swipe my fingerprint. Cameras that can give me post-mortem, intrusion alarm systems that I can activate a system and sleep peacefully. If somebody is trying to enter from any corner of my house, I have an alarm system that will tell me that somebody has tried to intrude. These systems can be designed right from the start of the villa to the end of, to any corner of your villa. That can be done for a 2 BHK, or whether you're doing a 15 BHK in some remote city. Okay. So whatever be the application, whether it is motorized gates, whether you want a remote from the car which you press and the gates automatically open. Even if you want to go one step further, that the car has an RFID reader, and the moment it approaches, the gate opens, it identifies the car, it identifies you, lets you inside so that you don't have to get out of the car and try to press a code to open something for you. So all this can be done, whether it is at a building level, whether it is at a villa level, or whether it is at maybe you have a big apartment society for which this needs to be done. These are possible. This is what is happening in every corner of the world when a new smart connected home is being designed. Gone are the days where you had 5 vendors, one doing the security system for you, one doing the automation system for you, one doing the AV for you, one taking care of the Wi-Fi and the networking, and all of them getting into blame games of this is his fault and this is his fault. So this is what CDIA is all about, to get you trained as a professional to basically deliver everything, whether it is a high-end audio video system. So if we are talking about entertainment, are we talking, first of all, again, we come back to the brief. You need to understand what the client wants. For music, you just need stereo speakers, 2 speakers, the left and right. Okay, that's the best way to hear music. Because when a stereo system is set right, okay, let's say if I have followed the laws of audio science, if I've followed the laws of music creation, if I place the left and the right speaker right, okay, I can actually get the sound from everywhere in between these 2 speakers. That's called sound stage. It's a magical experience. You put those 2 speakers, calibrate them correctly, and what you get is a phantom center. So there'll be all the sound coming from between these 2 speakers, and you don't have a speaker over there. That's the beauty of listening to music. But is music your application? If your application is watching a movie, then you need a center speaker that, like what's shown in this picture over here. It has a great dialogue being delivered from the center speaker, the music being delivered from the left and right, the Atmos effects from the rear and the Atmos speakers. It needs to be calibrated right. Okay, see, understand one point. What we want is the experience that was actually created by the music director or the producer of that movie, of that music. They have spent crores of rupees on making the content. When we deliver this content to the user, it needs to be giving that same experience that they intended to give. For that, the speakers needs to be placed right, the angle needs to be right, the height needs to be right, the number of speakers needs to be right, and more important than everything else, the calibration of that speaker needs to be right. See, the speakers and the amplifiers don't understand where your listening position is. Where am I sitting? If my sofa or my listening positions goes back 4 feet, the entire system needs to be recalibrated. If it comes ahead by 2 feet, again, I need recalibration. So calibration is all about the listening position. A lot of times, this mistake has been done, that wires have been left as provisions in every room, in every corner. 5.1 wiring done in all rooms. You never know, you may need to add speakers in your bedroom. But does the person living in that bedroom need a surround sound system? Do you want multi-room audio? You want to listen to stereo music? You want to watch movies? you want a bright projection screen, whether you need optical screens so that you want a large screen being seen in daylight, or your application demands a TV, whether you need a smaller TV or a larger TV, what size should be the TV, what height should be the TV, all these things have a science behind it. I'll just give you two examples that when we are watching a screen, a lot of times when people ask, what height should my TV be? The standard answer is 24 inches bottom, 30 inches bottom, 36 inches bottom. There's no science like what is the bottom of the screen. The center of the screen should be at my eye level. Okay. Where should the speakers be? They should be at my ear level, at least the front three speakers. There's a science to this, and we have various CDR CPDs. One of them is going to be taken tomorrow, which is going to be on designing the AV system correctly. Okay. How to design a good home cinema. I really urge you all to, attend that. Mehernosh is going to be taking that, and he can actually take you into a detailed view on how to design a correct home cinema. He's a stalwart of the industry, and this is a CDR seminar that is really nice. So for the detail or depth into audio video, please attend it tomorrow. Okay. What we are today talking about is a fundamental of a smart home. When you design a dedicated entertainment room, the person who has invested lakh of rupees in this wants to escape. Okay, it's a brilliant experience. He wants to immerse into that audio and video. When he goes into that room, he should come out smiling. He should come out with a stress buster. You know, why we like watching movies so much? Because we like those stories. We like the emotional drama happening behind it. We cry when there is an emotional scene that makes you empathetic. We are afraid when there's a horror scene. When you watch Conjuring for the first time, you are going to the epitome of fear, and you're coming back. You know it's fiction, but you get immersed in it. That can happen only if the audio and the video is done right. Okay. So when it comes to dedicated rooms, it has to be done very, very technically correct. And again, I say that you can attend it tomorrow, because there are lakhs and lakhs of rupees that are being invested into this room aesthetics, into the room equipment, into the technology, into the screens, into the projectors, into the speakers. If they are not done correctly, you will not get that experience. So there is where you need a professional again. That is where these THX, HA, ISF certifications come into play. Without that, it is difficult to design and calibrate a nice system that keeps you at the edge of your seat. So this is again a very important room that people build. It's a social tool, it's a family time, and this is actually the golden age of cinema. Cinema has never been so fantastic, whether these are movies like Avatar or Bahubali or anything. All great movies with great effects, so much of technology used in creating those movies, and the right technology should be used in delivering this to your clients. Gaming has actually also taken front seat. This is actually a fabulous project in which a simulated golf room was created for a client by one of the CDR professionals, and it is too good to believe. It is such a nice experience. It is so well made, and this actually got them a lot of awards. But some creative space like this can also be made into a home that has the bandwidth and the budget to make this. What is basic? Okay. First of all, I'd like to say that whatever I spoke till now does not mean that it's a burning hole in the pocket. These are inexpensive. They are affordable. You just have to design them right. A right design can cost much lesser than what a bad design or an over design can. One of the most inexpensive products, again, but a great utility, are something that are used for BYOD. What is BYOD? Bring your own device. When we go to each other's home, there's a lot of pictures, movies, boomerangs, fun things that we want to share with each other as friends, as relatives, as family members. And you need something, one small 5,000 rupee device or a 15,000 rupee device behind each TV can actually make your TV empowered to airplay that mobile or that laptop or your iPad in a jiffy to that screen. How many times do we struggle? If you have a Samsung TV, you need a Samsung app, or it can do well from an Android, not from an Apple, not from an Android. If you put the certain devices behind your TV, then you can actually have this wireless display done so smoothly that it's a click of a button. It's actually a click of a button. Press cast and you see that display. It should be as easy as this in every display in your house. Okay, that is something that people like, because streaming has become a norm. Everybody wants to stream something or the other on the displays. Displays are no longer backed by set-top boxes. Okay, so bring your own device is something that is very inexpensive and should be done. One of the most known concepts of automation is keypads. When you are doing a lot of automation, you don't want a wall like this. You want nice looking decorative aesthetic keypads. And we are living in the world of IoT. IoT means Internet of Things. What I mean by Internet of Things is, before say a decade, what was internet used for? Maximum mobile phones, laptops, maybe printers, nothing beyond that. Nowadays, every TV, every set-top box, every Fire Stick, Apple TV, speakers, Google, Alexa, everything needs internet. When everything needs internet, and everything is a smart device. I can have a separate app for this AC. I can have a separate app for these lights. I can have Philips lights that use a different app, and I don't want that app actually. What integration is all about is bringing all of them on a single platform. A single platform that does not ever make you handicapped. Whether your internet is down, your automation should work. Whether your Wi-Fi is down, the automation should work. So the system has to be designed with a true manual override. You should have some devices in the house that will work no matter what, so that you are not becoming a slave to this technology, but in fact, you are becoming a master of these technologies. They should work how you want. When we talk about automation, some out-of-the-box applications like this should be used, whether you are moving the furniture to just convert a mirror into a TV wall, okay? Or whenever you are done with the TV, that same mirror goes back in the place, and that room, the space behind the other side of the mirror can actually be converted into a library, right? So we have to think out of the box. I think it's time when we, just not do lights, fans, curtains, ACs, TV, DVD player, set-top boxes, amplifier. We move beyond them. We actually design systems that, get that wow effect back. TVs can be below your bed, or your windows can slide. You can have a grill, a safety grill that is being coming from a motor, or you can have TVs hidden, or bar tables or bar cabinets hidden into your furniture. The application that you name can actually be met with good integration these days. The goal is always energy management while you're doing this. A lot of time people ask us that, will the automation increase my electricity bill? Absolutely not. In fact, the reverse is true. If you program the system well, it will get your electricity bill down. It will help you consume it. It will help you save lighting power by using broad daylight. It will help you save electricity power by optimizing your air condition usage. Talking in COVID times, health has become one of the biggest priorities. A lot of devices now can take your health, whether it's the Apple Watch or a Fitbit. They can actually take your vitals. They are really advancing like never before. We will be wearing health devices on our body all the time coming 5 years. Your automation system will be ready to get you all the statistics of all the house members and tell you exactly when you need a health checkup and exactly when you need to rest. This is also getting integrated into systems anytime soon. It's coming. So your home health also can be integrated. All of this that I spoke, just winding up, needs immaculate planning, needs unlimited amount of dedication, involvement in the project. This is not just product selling. This is not just solution selling. This is actually creating an experience. The scope of an automation or an integrator or an AV integrator or a CDR professional starts at the birth of the project and goes throughout the life of the project. That's how much we are involved in this project. A lot of vendors and entities can enter and exit the project in a short span. Once we enter, we have no exit. And that's how you need to put your project into trusted hands. It needs to be designed such that not a single cable is missing and not a single miscoordination happens, because I'm sure you all have burnt fingers with something like that. When are we involved? Like I said, from the start till the end. Okay, that's what we wanted to share today in this CDR professional development seminar, webinar. I hope this CPD was helpful. I hope I didn't bore you all. I hope the content was something that gave you something to go back to and may help us design much better smart homes. I urge all professionals who are not a part of CDR to please become part of CDR. It is worth everything. Again, I say it's not for profit. It is to raise the entire standard of this industry and to get you the right knowledge to become a professional in this industry. And as interior designers and architects, I urge you all to please ensure that you're working with a nice professional. CDR professionals are something that you can lay a blind bet on. But if not that, then any professional who has all these bells and whistles in place to do the kind of job that you desire to do. Okay, Sandeep and Rupesh, I hope I am hitting it in time. Do we have any questions that we need to take? I've kept some 10 minutes for those questions. If there's anything, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Maulik.
Thank you.
Let me.
Once again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope there's something that people got from this, and I congratulate you again on creating such a nice platform for an industry that is expanding like never before.
There is a question from Amol.
Yeah.
Like to ask, is there a certification courses or something you guys provide where they can get certification or they can become certified installer or something?
Yes. So two things. This CPD, in fact, is a certification course for interior designers and architects. So if a design and build professional actually attends CPDs like this, they can be done on a personalized level for your team, for your crowd, for whenever you say, wherever you say. And they are certification CPDs. So you get a certification at the end that you have attended a Design Connected Home seminar and CPD, and you are a certified attendee. And if any integrators want to do, there are innumerable courses delivered by CDR that actually give you the right knowledge, the right certification, the right education that you need. You can visit the website. I think Rupesh, you want to answer that? You are in a better position to take that.
Sure. Thanks, Maulik. Yes, there are. So CDR does offer certifications, and they are of various kinds. It depends on what do you want to do. So it starts from having a certification for your technician. So recently we've brought in a certification to a very different level. So as we all speak about standards, I think ISO standard is something which we all would love to be on. And when we work with our interior designers and architect fraternity, they do also follow those similar standards. So what we've done is we've completely revamped some of our certifications, especially at the technician level, and brought in ISO accredited certifications. So those are there for you. Other than that, even at a designing level, even at a networking specialist level, we've got a lot of certifications in place. So yes, you can, and anyone who's keen on understanding more can connect with me, and I'll be more than happy to help you fill up more information on how to go about doing that. There are learning pathways for it, which you can actually go online. We have a beautiful CDR Academy program, a website, which is a learning management system, which has been introduced on 1st of June this year. And that's completely state of the art. This allows you to take your online pathways, learning pathways, even without going face to face, since it's a hybrid model, and it perfectly fits into the situation that we are in right now. So yes, just to answer that question, these are some of the information that you may want to keep with you. Thanks, Maulik.
Rupesh, if you can also cover how to get in touch with you, if you can share your coordinates.
Yeah. Sure. So you can maybe write into me on r Shah, that is rshah at cedia.org, or you can call me on my mobile number, that's 99203-78758.
That would make it easy for
Yeah, thanks, Maulik. Thanks for reminding me.
Sandeep, any other questions from anyone?
No, so this anyway, this video will remain for all 3 days, and any questions and all, I mean, people can post it later also, and I'll try to send it across to Rupesh or you.
All right.
Sure. Thanks, Sandeep.
All right, Sandeep.
Thank you very
so
much.
much for having Cedia and having me and you.
Thank you, Maulik, for insightful.
All the best for the rest of the show. We'll stick around.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Maulik. Thanks, Maulik, for volunteering your time for this wonderful session. As usual, you've been superb, and I loved listening to you. And thanks, Sandeep, so much for providing us this platform to reach out to more of our, friends out from the design and build community, so that we can really have a very smooth working relationship as an industry to industry. So thanks once again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.